You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box. What on earth is he doing here? I mean, these things are usually on the street. I feel it. Feel it, you feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup exploring over 60 years of the Doctor Who universe. Hold on tight, you never know where the crew of the TARDIS is going next.
Hey there, Whovians, and welcome to another episode of Earth Station Who. We are back, and we are going back to the 11th Doctor era, and we are looking at The Girl Who Waited. This was the 10th episode of Series 6 of Doctor Who, and this is Matt Smith's second season, so at this time he was already more comfortable with the role. He had, both Amy and Rory as a married couple, and he almost had two Amy's as on the TARDIS there. And, it's like the Doublemint twins, but, hey, it could have been fun. The numbers are, interesting to think about, but it was a great story that we hadn't reviewed yet, so it's going to be fun to talk about with these fine people. Let's say hi to our crew. At first, Mr. Mike Gordon is here.
Howdy.
And, of course, Mary Ogle.
Hi, everybody. It is fantastic to be here.
And last but not least ever is Melanie Dean.
Hello, fellow Whovians.
It's good to see everybody again. And, it's interesting because there is no Doctor Who news here in the States. We haven't even got the war between the land and the sea. And you know what? It's like crazy. And, as a friend of mine said to me the other day, it could already be on Disney Plus. And, they just haven't announced it like the rest of the season they did. So hopefully we will get official announcement, something. So, I've been really good about spoiling and, not, finding anything out about it. But, other than that, there really hasn't been anything, no news about the Christmas special. We don't even know where it's going to be streaming yet. And so we're waiting. There's bets, there's rumors, but until I see an official thing from BBC, I'm not going to talk about it here. It's not worth it. So
that's everything I know is rumor. It's conjecture.
There has been a ton of rumor, and we try to put ourselves above that and everything. But if you do want to hear about rumors and guests and things like that, we did get finally a little bit of Doctor Who news. Mary and I are going to be, as we mentioned our last couple episodes, we will be at Pensacon. And so thank goodness. And we are going to be talking all about Doctor Who in 2026. Evolution, reinvention, or arrest. We will be coming to you on Friday, the 20th of February at 6 p.m. And we are going to be in Right Place, second floor, room 4. So we will have, Earth
right
Station
place,
Who.
right time.
Exactly. Finally, we got it. We got it at time, folks. So definitely, please come and see us. We definitely would love to see you guys. And, we have Doctor Who postcards, and we'll have, who knows? I might have a couple gifts or something to give away, Let's see what I can fit in my suitcase since I'm not driving down this time. So, I think it'll be a ton of fun. And, Pensacon is always a great show anyway. So it goes from the 20th till the 22nd, and it's a great, great show. It's right by the beach. Come on. How about, you can't ask for much more than that.
Cannot complain about that.
Nope,
No,
you cannot.
We could use some beach weather right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. I think all of us could right now. So
Yes, please.
Exactly. So, definitely please check us out. And if you want more information on it, please check out Pensacon.com. You could definitely check out and see who the guests are, what the schedules are. And, we'll be doing a couple different panels at the show, and it should be a ton of fun. Other than that, there is no Doctor Who news. So let's jump in with both feet into this episode. And we're going back now to the wilds and crazy of September 10th, 2011. That's right. It was a one episode. And, like we said earlier, season 6. And this is Matt's second season as the Doctor. And this is great because at the time, the seasons were, multi episodes and, more than just 8. I think they had 13 episodes that season.
Yeah, I think it was 13.
So, and because this is the whole thing with the impossible astronaut and that whole storyline.
So good.
It was a great, great season. And we find, the Doctor and Amy on vacation, or the Doctor's trying to take to the second most popular place to visit. And I loved how Rory asked, why aren't we going to number 1? Everyone goes to number 1, Rory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and everything. What were your initial takes on this one, folks? Let's start with Melanie this time.
I really enjoyed this one. I think because it's in the second season for them, everybody's they've got granted they got their chemistry down very quickly, I think in their first, season. But this one, they just gelled beautifully. I think especially when it comes to him playing the Doctor, he knew what his Doctor was, and which I tend to see like all the actors, like their second, when it's their second season, they've got their Doctor down. So I kind of got that. I really enjoyed this episode. It was just the right amount. It was very timey-wimey. But even then, like the prosthetics were good. I liked the story. I thought the handbots were just the right amount of creepy and robotic and not, yeah. So I really enjoyed this one.
Okay. Mikey.
This is one of my favorites from the season and from their entire run. I really enjoy this one. And, to your point, Mike, the reason why I think I feel like there's more seasons than there are for them is because they broke it in half. Like, so you
Right.
had, one in this season that they're doing, they have 1 through 7 in the spring, and then they come back a few months later in the autumn with 8 through 13, of which this is like right smack in the middle of the second part of that season. And it on the when you look at it, it's a standalone one, but I love the fact that it references so much that has happened with them. And it really kind of helps define their relationship in a way that I don't think they were successful defining the relationships, at least not to me. So this one I think really does a great job with that, particularly the Amy and Rory relationship, because I think that was always just kind of an odd thing that they sort of played around with. Certainly when we had Amy's Choice, that should have been the defining episode for that. But yet I felt like still there was some stuff that was unanswered there. And we get it here, I think, with the girl who waited in a much more convincing way. And to Mel's point, it's so timey-wimey. And I always feel like this is it's written by Stephen Moffat because he usually excels in that kind of thing more than anybody else. This is one of those rare times when I think it's a successful timey-wimey story without him directly writing the script. I mean, I know he oversaw the show and he probably had a lot of input in there, sure, but it's attributed to Tom McRae. And mostly I love it because I think this episode in particular, more than any other time on the show, I think Karen just shines. I think this is like her at her best. And I really appreciate that.
Oh, she was amazing in this one. Her acting skills were just out of the world with us, playing two different versions of Amy, and it was great. Mary, what about you?
I find it hard to say I enjoyed this episode because it is so freaking brutal at the end. I mean, man. Don't get me wrong, it's a great episode. It's really good writing. And as everybody's saying, Karen Gillan is just a revelation here. I mean, she's like 21, 22, whatever she is here. And she is just playing older Amy perfectly. I mean, desperation, despair, anger, betrayal. She's going through it. And she is showing you that you are feeling it with her. And I really appreciated that. And I appreciated the timey-wiminess of it too, because it's just fun to go on that ride with them. But oh my God, the ending is brutal. I mean, trigger warning for suicide. Actually, you could argue trigger warning for homicide, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
And it's wow. It really hits you over the head with what it's like to have to make hard choices, and how would you deal with that, and which way would you go, and the unfairness of it, even if, because life isn't fair.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there is just absolutely nothing you can do about it, and
Exactly.
they showcase that brilliantly.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
amazing episode. Maybe don't watch it when you're feeling depressed already, but
Too late.
truly amazing
Too
episode.
late.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'm not in a great place right now either. So this is what I did. I was watching it on my laptop. I watched half of it, and I was already starting to spiral. And I'm like, okay, turn off the sound, put the closed captioning on, and watched it at double speed for the last half.
Oh, wow.
Because
You just needed to jog your memory. You're fine.
Right. I mean, look, I have seen this thing like 10 times, so.
Okay, so this is not your first time seeing
No,
it or second time.
I have seen this many, many times.
Okay.
I just happened to be in a place that made it especially hard to watch. I mean, I just found out my father is having dementia issues.
Oh,
And
no.
this was like bringing that up because of the aging
Right.
issue within it.
Right.
But that all that tells you is that what an effective, evocative episode it is, and what an emotional episode is, and how important it is to have writing like this, to have it represented, and to be able to watch it in a showcase like Doctor Who is just hats off to you, Tim McRae, who's by the way, his other episodes, Age of Steel, right? The Rise of the Cybermen episode.
Yep.
Did not like them. And this one, wow, he just totally made up for that.
I believe I saw an interview with him, and Tom said that when he did those two episodes, he was really restricted by the showrunner as far as what had to happen plot-wise and character-wise and everything. And he really appreciated that Stephen, on this run with this episode, Stephen just let him go. And so I think it's a true test to his capability. But not making excuses for him, but that's what he reportedly had attributed that to, why they're so different.
No, that totally makes total sense. It was an interesting episode because, this is all about choices and how one wrong choice can, pretty much cost you the rest of your life. And it's almost like what happens
just by hitting the wrong button.
Yeah, exactly. But it was interesting because if you think about it, Amy and Rory got hit by the angels and they lost their lives. They lived their lives same way Amy did in this one in a lot of ways. And I don't know if that was kind of like a foreshadowing thing or if it was, just but it was brilliant. It was this episode was just brilliant, and how, doe-eyed, cynical Amy Pond became so hateful and so angry and so, mad at the world, and it was just amazing for
I don't know
that.
if she was mad at the world. She was mad at the doctor.
Yes.
No,
I'll be right back. Don't worry.
She was pretty focused on that.
yeah. Oh, she was very mad at the doctor, but he was back, so she was able to focus it. But I think she she gained great survival skills because she had to, and everything, and it was just amazing to see. And I was like thinking about it. There really isn't a true villain in this episode.
I guess
and
you could argue the doctor was the villain in this episode.
I was about to go there, Mary. I really was going to go there,
but not. Yeah, I mean, he does some villainous acts for sure. But yeah, I think to Mike's point that it's not really anybody's. I mean, it just happens, and I think it's weird because it's a Dr. Light episode, really. I mean, he's in it, but it's not like he's like, you could almost take him out of it, really, which is amazing to me. That we see Amy, left to her own devices, becoming very doctor-ish in her own way. Like she has her own Sonic, like she makes her own Sonic, which,
and I love she was not calling it a sonic screwdriver.
No, she was not.
It's a probe. It's a probe.
No, she was not. But
she had armor.
Because she needed to do what she needed to do to survive, and that 20-year-old Amy, you couldn't imagine her being capable of building her own Sonic. And we've seen this sort of trope before with character, especially in sci-fi, and that's one of the beauties, I think, of sci-fi, is that you can just come up with these fantastic reasons for characters to meet themselves, or a variation of themselves, or to age prematurely, or you've seen it several times, and they're not really examples of proper hard science fiction, because you can label it with a bunch of stuff to make the rationale, the reasons for it there, but really it's more about the characters. It's more about character study, and I love the notion. For some reason, I'm sort of fascinated by the notion, and I always have been. Well, I should say I have been since as I get older, of being able to meet, talk to, encounter your younger self. And I think this is really, really a sort of nightmare scenario of doing that. But yet it's really, really a unique look at how that might happen, and what might, as you said, Mike, I mean, one false move in your life, and it could go in a drastically different way than you intend, and the repercussions of that. And it just, and it's so you, even though older Amy is hard, she's definitely a hard character to love at that point. You understand exactly what she's going through. They do a great job of putting you in her shoes, so to speak, so you understand where she's coming from. And Amy shouldn't have happened in that timeline. So cutting it off seems like the proper thing to do. But it's a pretty brutal thing. It's kind of like, it reminds me a little bit of that Voyager episode where Tuvix, where they accidentally create a character,
one, yes.
And in order, because it's two characters joined together, and then when they have to separate them, that you have to lose that character, and it's very similar in a way, but it's with one character here. And I understand that they wanted to, at first they toyed with the idea of having a different actress play Amy, older Amy, but Karen said she was up for the challenge, and I dare say, man, she really knocked it out of the park. She was really great, because you can only do so much with makeup.
Yes.
Like it has to come from within if you're going to believe it.
You
right?
have to you have to act more mature. You have to act more weathered, more. It's interesting too, because, I'm going to say Karen did a great job, but Arthur did just as well,
Oh yeah,
being Rory.
did.
He was amazing in this episode. And I love again how he always stands up to the doctor and not, yes, doctor, anything you say, doctor, like older companions used to do. But no, it's Rory gives it right back to the doctor. It's like, you're trying to make me into you. And I love that line. It was awesome. And it had to be Rory's choice, to let the other Amy in or, or stay with the younger one. And it was fascinating with that. And, there is a little thing though. I was like thinking about that as I was watching it. The doctor runs into his old past selves and such, and has adventures with them all the time. Why couldn't there be two Amy's, from this timeline, and
because
armor.
Tom and Steven said no.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Doctor Who.
Because Doctor
Who.
Yeah. But I was like thinking about it. It was just like, wait a minute, the doctor does this all the time and everything. So
burn up another sun and drop her in an alternate universe or something if you
Exactly.
have to.
Yeah.
Exactly. Stick her in that universe with Rose. I'm sure they'll get along well.
Yeah.
Yeah. The least you could do is take her to the most popular planet so she can get a decent cup of coffee.
Yeah, right. It's like, well, you spent 36 years being bitter and saving and fighting for your life and hiding and all that. I guess I could just, maybe just drop you off in some other planet where you can just go, I don't know, have a cup of tea and live on Clom or
Live
wherever
out your life, yeah.
wherever the number one vacation spot is. I mean, I could owe you that to you, but yeah, no, I'm just going to slam the door in your face.
No, I'm just going to make
take care of it.
Rory kill you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not even going to do it myself. We're going to make Rory do
Exactly.
Exactly. I'm keeping it's funny because some of the things he did reminded me a lot of the Dream Lord that we saw just, this season before of this. And it was just like, this is like a really dark decisions the doctor had to make in this one.
Yeah, apparently he's made it before or something very similar, which I was not familiar with because it's a story that I think that we have not. I think it's one of those ones that it's missing, which is I guess it takes place on the massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve, which is from season 3 with the first Doctor.
Right.
But I was reading that apparently there was a companion there that fell for a different character and who was supposed to die, kind of like a City on the Edge of Forever kind of thing, where that character was supposed to die, and that would have messed up the temporal engine and all that kind of stuff. So the doctor, kind of lies and said, "Oh yeah, she'll be fine," but then, it's not true. So he can't save her, and he has no intention of saving her. So
it's a fixed point. You can't touch it,
Exactly. So this is kind of, we've seen the doctor make hard decisions like this before. He doesn't relish in it. That's for sure. But I think, to your point, story wise, you want to see him make these kind of decisions rather than just be like, yeah, come on board and everything will be fine, because where's the drama in that?
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think that it would have been a bold move to keep her alive and have her go somewhere or do something and still exist. And which is weird because usually Steven does that, right? Like Steven usually saves his characters so that they can be used in Big Finish, be used later, right? Like
or go to a restaurant on a planet where one day is 24 years or something,
Yeah, exactly. Right. He usually does that, but in this one it's pretty final. Which is, not to say that if Big Finish wanted to, they could, figure out a way to bring her back. But yeah, it is strange. But they didn't have the, it would have been a really weird move if they had replaced one Amy with another or had the other one survive. I mean, I think really most science fiction shows, most shows are don't do it for obvious reasons. I think the only series that I know of that was brave enough to do things that really lasted and had an impact still was like something like Farscape, where they had two Crichtons and they actually let that play out to see what would happen with the two Crichtons.
Right.
And
they tried doing that with Star Trek with the two Rikers too.
Oh, that's right. Yes, they did. That was not as successful, but yes, you're right. They did do that they did do that with Riker. Right? Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
So you can do these things in science fiction, which is fun. And here it's not fun.
Not fun at all.
But it's definitely really interesting, and it does give the actors some real good scenery to chew.
Mm-hmm. The little robots were kind of freaky with the human hands, and
they were creepy. They were legitimately creepy.
They were creepy. I like how Amy painted a face on it and called it Rory.
Mm-hmm. That made me think about Wilson from the Castaway.
Yes, very much so. As she said, she disarmed him and cut his hands right off.
But they would always say that they were doing things for kindness, which made it even sounding more sinister, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Literally mercy killing.
Yeah, killing you with kindness, literally, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. There was some pretty interesting things with this story, and it was the sets were very, very plain, just the white sets. And
they were looking that there's hardly this for the longest time. This was one of the episodes that had the fewest cast members in it.
Right.
The scenery, the sets are bare bones. They were really trying to save money with this one.
Oh yeah. Very
and
much
look,
so.
you can save money and still create like an amazing episode. I think that
sometimes that helps you.
I think you're right.
You have to get creative.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. Absolutely.
Right. Well, I think there was some good stuff to this one, and it fits really well in a series of really good episodes. And like we talked about earlier, so I just, these actors had these characters down pat, and it was neat to see that. And I liked, the glasses, and then I also liked the big magnifying glass that you could see through. It reminded me of Romper. It reminded me of Romper Room.
Yeah.
Yes.
The fact that Rory's just carrying this thing around is so funny through the whole thing. Rory's just continuing to carry this thing. And I was just like, this is ridiculous, but awesome.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, there was great parts about this one. And, I'd love to see, like you said, older Amy, if there was a way to bring her back. And it wouldn't be that much of a stretch now for Karen to play that character. She's getting up there, because this episode.
Getting up there. She's in her 30s.
Yeah,
she's
she
not
has to be
60.
at least 56 for this.
Yes, she's coming on 60 in this. Mike.
Yeah, exactly.
But isn't it weird too? They have that weird thing where every time a younger actor has to portray themselves older and they put on makeup and everything, they make them look significantly worse than they end up being. Like it's almost like when the actor does reach that age, you're like, "Whew, I'm glad they don't look like they did in that one thing they did earlier, where they made them up like they were old."
Yeah, they made him up looking like a zombie instead of just we just need some more lines and creases. That's all we need. Just add wrinkles. Exactly. Make the eyes a little darker. Just add some frown lines. It's just the smile lines come in. It's
exactly. Yeah.
Because I'm glad that for
her,
use us as
examples.
Too.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. That they did put a little weight on her, and that she did walk a little bit more, like maybe that she had like maybe a sore shoulder, her back hurt a little bit,
Because I doubt she's sleeping in a bed. So I don't think she's seen it. Yeah. So,
that she did, because I was reading how she was like that she talked to a vocal coach to help with the voice getting a little bit more
to
dark,
make her
a
voice
little deeper
deeper.
and more little, yeah, get the timbre in there, really speak out from the chest,
At
and
least
then
they
a move,
didn't.
and then
At least they didn't do a Christian Bale. That's right. I'm talking to you like this.
yes, yeah, no, and then also like a movement coach just to kind of make it look like your bones are creaky, lady, that you've hit the
Yeah.
milestones of, okay, you've hit bad knees, now you've got bad lower back, and now your shoulders are hurting. It's like, okay, you've
I
hit them,
love.
go.
I loved when older Amy was flirting with Rory, and he was kind of liking it. He was like, "Oh, you know." So I thought that was pretty awesome. It's like you're old enough to be my. Shut up! Don't say it. Which is awesome. All right. Any final thoughts before we go ahead and rate this one?
Uh, you mentioned foreshadowing, but I just want to take a moment. I love the sort of just references to past episodes of Amy and the Doctor. Like the title, "The Girl Who Waited," is a reference to obviously her initial episode where she waited for the Doctor after all the time to come back. And there she is waiting again. Of course, they've got that history with Rory waiting as well. You've got Amy's choice, you've Rory's choice, you've got like everybody's choice in this one. I just sort of love all these references, but I think also, like I said, to me, this episode really helps define them as a couple in a way that I just wasn't feeling before this. I don't know how you guys felt, but I like episodes like Amy's Choice, like was like it really just sort of tried to hammer it into me, but I just wasn't for some reason buying it until this episode. I mean, and it's too you're right. It's not only to Karen's credit, but Arthur's credit as well, because even though Amy is different, he recognizes that it's Amy, and he still loves her. The choice that he has to make, he's really messed up about, not only because it's Amy, but because his primary concern. He's a nurse. His primary concern is somebody's health. I wish that they had put something in there to reference that he actually does know like medical things, like
Yeah.
like he could help medically to help this situation, but they don't really do that for him because it's really just it's really Amy's episode, and but the scenes where she has to sort of explain, like one Amy has to explain to the other why she loves Rory. I mean, that just was like, okay, I get it. I get it now, in a way that I didn't get it before. And I really appreciated that. And I think I appreciated them as a couple more after this episode than I did prior to that. I liked them individually, but as a couple, I was sold finally.
No, I don't disagree with that. And the couple, them being the couple, has always been strong, but it really was in this episode, you saw it a lot. I really saw it also a couple episodes before that when A Good Man Goes to War, when, Rory and the Doctor went chasing after Amy when she had been kidnapped by the Silence. And so it was interesting with that. But yeah, it was great. It was really, really, the story was good, and the chemistry between Arthur and Karen throughout the story was just on par. And, and for Amy to be two different characters, versions of herself, I should say. It was just wonderful to see. All right. Let's do ratings. Mary, you get to go first. 1 out of 5 TARDISes. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best.
I'm going to give it a 5. I mean, I just think this is a brilliant episode. I always have. This has always been one of my favorite episodes of this season, even though it is brutal to watch. But the thing is, when I think about it, and I think about the ending, and is that the ending that I think it should have had? And story-wise, I have to say yes. I do think that's the ending it should have had because it just would have taken away from the power of it. and the fight that older Amy went through and her will to survive if it had not ended in the way it did. And I'm glad that Karen Gillan got that moment to shine because man, if you had any doubts about her acting ability, which I did not anyway, but if you did, that should tell you what a talent she is.
Mm-hmm.
Because for as young as she was, to portray somebody of that age and to sell it that hard is just wow. My hat's off to you, Karen.
No, do not disagree with that at all. All right, Mikey.
You know, I was hesitant to give this a 5, and I was pretty sure going into this that I was going to give it a 4.5. But I can't think of any reason not to give it a 5. Like I can't give it I can't think of any reason to deduct even half a point from this because everything is just as good as it can be for this type of story and for this episode and for this show. I mean, yes, it's a Dr. Light episode, but even at that, the decision that he makes is still pretty monumental enough that it's like it's a big Doctor moment in and of itself. So, yeah, I'll give this one a 5.
Okay, Mel.
I'm honestly going to give it a 5 as well because in my head I was kind of in that same thing as Mike was saying. So I was going to honestly come in here giving it a 4.5, and I'm like, but why am I detracting it from being so good? Because honestly, this is one of my favorite episodes with these three characters, and regurgitating a lot of stuff, whatever else, or reiterating a lot of stuff everyone's saying, wrong word, and regurgitate, was yes, it is a Dr. Light episode. Yeah, this is Amy's episode, but she acts against herself. And there's a lot of times when I remember the first time watching this and knowing that that's kind of where we're going to be going. It's like, okay, we're going to see an actor act against himself with a split screen and all that kind of stuff. And usually it doesn't work that well in other media. She really got that done well. And it sold me that the older Amy was bringing a lot of trauma and just time and everything else in the psyche and in the physicality. And then going back to young Amy, it was, yeah. And to echo what Mary said, the ending, I hate the ending, but it's right. It's not meant to be happy. This is not a story where you're going to be feeling good at the end. And sometimes the best stories you're going to get punched in the feels. And this one will punch you right in the feels.
Oh, big time.
You're good, but it's good. Tragedy helps make the happiness and the happy times more sweet. So this is a good episode. Even if the Doctor's being chaotic, neutral, maybe, I don't know. He's like a little chaos demon.
He's definitely neutral in this one, and it's interesting too. Go ahead, Mike. What did you want to say?
No. Just real quick, I wanted to piggyback on something she said too, because I meant to mention it as well. Because she said, the split screen stuff that we've seen before and everything like that. Credit to Nick Huron as the director, because that sequence and using the magnifying glass to show both of them at the same time. While they're talking to each other within the reflection of of one Amy over the other. I mean, that was just so brilliant of a move and a nice shot and a nice way to see both of them at the same time that didn't feel contrived.
No, I agree with that. It definitely didn't. One of the things with it, and then I'll give my score in a sec, that made me like, wow, in this was the final scene when Rory and Amy had come into the TARDIS, and then the Doctor had the door was still open, and he ran to the door and he stared at the other Amy, and she right back at him. The looks on each other. Oh, exactly. She knew exactly what he was going to do. And then him slamming the door and Rory like, what the hell? Type thing. God, this is a 5-star for me. It really is a 5-star all the way around. Matt is brilliant. We haven't even really touched on Matt this episode because, Amy and Rory were so powerful in this and everything. But Matt was just as good. And he was a doctor I didn't really like all that much in this episode. He was not a likable character, but he was great in it. And that's what is, that's what's awesome about him. And I've always said this, Matt has always played the doctor the least human, more, like alien type thing. And I've always felt that like this is one of the examples of it. He's able to do this and, be cold about it because he has to, and it's just great about that. And I loved it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, that's fair. I think I see that as well.
Okay. So folks,
have we ever had an episode where we all gave it a 5?
No.
I mean,
remember doing that.
Maybe, but not very often.
It's been a while. So I think for the screen, for the video version, we'll have just a big 5 right in the center of all of us, a big golden 5 or something. So I think that would be kind of cool. So folks, we definitely would love to hear from you guys. What were your thoughts on this one? Did you like it? Did you not? Please let us know. Feedback at earthstationwho.com is the best way to let us know. We definitely would love it if you could. So, speaking of email, we got another email from our friend Pete. Pete he's almost like the 5th Beatle in some way.
I was going to say, do we have 5 5s now?
Yeah, exactly. So he's actually talking about the Paternoster gang from last time. And he said, "Hi all, enjoyed the podcast. Thanks for reawakening my interest in Big Finish, and I love the Paternoster gang. Liked Anne, but what life as a half alien and half goop will work for her. Meeting possibly the original Paternoster was interesting, and I liked the storyline. Don't love the cliffhanger, though. The clone story was great, especially with Strax's thoughts, and I dare say it, his feelings as a clone. Have already bought the next one to check out on Jenny, see what's going on. Thanks, Peter." Peter,
awesome.
That was awesome. Awesome. So if you like, we'd love to
I think Big Finish owes us a commission.
Yes. But you
got one person.
Exactly. But with how weak the dollar is, with whatever they'll pay us, it'll be hay pennies here. Type thing.
Big Finish stuff are not cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we know. So, folks, thank you as always for listening. We do appreciate you guys. If you get a chance and you're at Pensacon, drop us a line, stop by, see us, and let us know what you guys think of the podcast. We'll be all around the show, from Friday till Sunday. So it'll be both me and Mary, and we'll also have Judy and Barbara with us. So we'll also probably have a couple other friends with us. So it should be fun. Of course, you definitely, as we said earlier, if you want to drop us a line, feedback at earthstationwho.com. If you get a chance and we would appreciate it. 2 thumbs up, subscribe, like, YouTube is our, way a lot of people are finding us now. But also if you get a chance, listen to us on audio. You don't get to see these lovely faces, but it's always a good thing. Maybe it's better not to see us or something.
Yeah, I think probably a plus.
Yeah, there you go. Faces made for radio, as we used to like to say. But also, of course, if you want to join in some fun Doctor Who discussions, we do have great stuff going on over on our Facebook group. Or if you want, check out our Instagram. We would really appreciate it. Definitely, we'll be back again next month, and we'll probably have our next episode is actually going to be our panel at Pensacon. So it'll be a lot of fun to, hear for you guys to hear that and share with you, because we usually do our panels as Q&As anyway. We want to hear what folks have to say, and it's usually a nice discussion about Doctor Who, and, we might make up some rumors right there on the spot. You never know. It's probably more than what we're figuring out now anyway. So it could be a ton of fun, but definitely check us out from the 19th till the 22nd. We will be in Pensacola, Florida at Pensacon. Check it out, folks. Let's thank our regular crew for being here. Of course, Mr. Mike Gordon.
As always, it's my pleasure.
It's great to have you, sir. Anything you want to promote?
Just the usual podcast I'm part of. We just dropped the first episode of the 2026 Dragon Con report. We talked to a couple people who were at the very first Dragon Con in 1987.
Ooh.
So we talked to them about that experience, what that was like, and whether they had any idea that it would continue and become the big bad monster it has so far. So, and of course, Bat Chums, 3 Grog Night, and New Legend Lounge are all available as well. So
Excellent, sir. Glad you're keeping busy. So, yeah, the folks who were at the first Dragon Con, they're about Amy's age now in this episode.
That's true.
Yes, that's very, very true. Melanie, thank you so much.
You so much. Always like chatting with all of you.
Well, anything you want to promote?
You can find all my when and if I'm on Instagram. You can find me at Pieces of Melee. Otherwise, you can go on to diamondtechcrafts.com. That's really where my stained glass kind of stuff is at the moment. So putting all my time and energy into doing things there.
Awesome. And of course, as always, Mary Ogle, thank you for being here.
Anytime. This was a fantastic episode to talk about.
You want to promote your stuff?
You can find me at maryogle.com or on Etsy at eVision Arts.
And she will be at Pensacon, folks. And if you buy some artwork of her artwork, bring it with you and she'll autograph it for you. If you find that would be awesome. Yeah. All right, my stuff. Tales from Hollywoodland. This week, the old guys get to talk all about and remember Diane Keaton. And it's a great episode from Annie Hall. I didn't even know she was in the original production of Hair on Broadway. So that's pretty cool stuff. And, all the different other projects that she's done. And it's pretty cool. And she was always versatile and she always very unique of an actress. So it was neat to be able to talk all about her. And I've been telling you, I've had other projects coming up. One of the new projects I can finally announce. I announced it on Facebook the other day. I am the producer for my day job of Access Matters. It's a healthcare technology podcast. And we've just released, as of this recording day, February 3rd, our 3rd episode. So you're doing that monthly. And you won't hear me on the air, thank goodness, but you'll be able to enjoy my production work behind the scenes and putting things together. It's pretty cool stuff what they're doing for it. And, if you have any interest in healthcare and AI, healthcare and documentation, healthcare and, just technology, it's pretty cool stuff. You might actually learn something, as we like to say. On behalf of myself, Mike, Mary, and Melanie, we will see you here next time on Earth Station Who, LNZ, and we are done. See you at Pensacon, folks. Cheers. Bye. Bye. See ya.
You've been listening to Earth Station Who, a pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talents from throughout space and time. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individuals and are to be used for entertainment value alone. You can subscribe to our show wherever fine podcasts are found, or check out our website, earthstationwho.com. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook or Instagram, and if you enjoyed the show, please write to us at feedback@earthstationwho.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on the next journey of Earth Station Who.
Craving a caffeine fix and a dose of adventure?
Join us for the Have Coffee Will Travel podcast, where we sip, savor, and explore the world one cup at a time.
From discussing the latest coffee trends to diving into pop culture obsessions and sharing travel tips, we've got you covered.
So grab your favorite mug, hit play, and let's embark on a journey together.
Brewing up conversations about coffee, culture, and curiosity.
The Have Coffee Will Travel podcast.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.